Hi friends, we're back today with another video in the series 30 Reviews in 30 Days during the month of September. My goal is to review 30 books here on my channel. Today we're talking about Passing by Nella Larsen. And this book was first published in 1929. Penguin Random House recently republished it and they sent me this complimentary copy. I try to keep my reviews honest and unbiased. The fact that I received a gifted copy usually doesn't impact my opinion of a book. So I did want to acknowledge that this was a gifted copy, but to say that my hype over this book is not going to be because I received it free. I truly enjoyed this book, and a lot of you have heard me talk about this book in my haul or in my bucket list videos, which I'll link down below if you want to go check those out. Because you might be new to this channel. You may have just come because you're following the series, and if so, welcome. Thank you for being here. Go watch my other videos. So a lot of people have recommended this book to me, and so I'm really happy that I've read it, and I'm here to tell you how I feel about it and to hype it up a little bit. So I hope that you'll read it too. So Passing is a psychological study. In this one, we are reading from the perspective of a fair-complexioned black woman named Irene. And this book is set in the 1920s. And Irene is married. She's a little unfulfilled in her marriage. She does have some issues with her husband. There were some things that he wanted to do, and their relationship has maybe allowed her the opportunity to force him not to do those things or to compel him her way. So there is a little bit of sacrifice in her marriage, sacrifices that her husband has made for her, but also you realize that she may not be as personally fulfilled as she could be as well. But in any case, the focus of this book is on her relationship with Claire, a friend that she had as a child. They lived in the same community until they parted ways. Claire moved away, and now Claire has resurfaced as still a fair complexioned black woman, but now she's been passing herself off as white, to the extent that she has married a racist, bigoted man who makes his views about the inferiority of the Negro race very clear. So it's interesting that Claire has allowed herself to be in the situation where she is with someone who hates her, hates who she really is, and doesn't hide that. And so there's always this threat that Claire's secret is going to be revealed, and what that would mean for her marriage, what that would mean for the other parts of her life where she's been passing. And it's really interesting because Irene spends most of the book being appalled really at Claire's decision. But when we meet Irene, she's been doing something similar, because while she hasn't necessarily been passing herself off as white in her personal relationships, she has been taking advantage of the opportunities that her appearance affords her when she is in situations where no one would actually be bold enough to ask her her race. So she's able to go to a restaurant and order food. This is during the 1920s. She's able to go to a rooftop restaurant and order drinks and receive the benefit of that status that would not have been afforded someone of darker skin. But she's repulsed by the idea that Claire, her childhood friend, has taken it a step further. So Larsen does give us these kind of duality of experiences. She gives us lots of characters who are alienated in one way or another, or are looking to other people for some kind of fulfillment, looking at what other people have and maybe comparing their own lives with that. I really enjoyed that. There is also a little bit of homoeroticism kind of bubbling under the surface of this novel. The characters do seem to be straight because these two women are both married to men and have been married for some time. They have children, but there is a little bit of sexual undertone. The level of obsession with which they chase each other, the cat and mouse game that Irene and Claire play, is more reminiscent of a game that lovers would play, not just friends, not just people who were childhood friends. So it's interesting how the author kind of pushes the boundary in expression, sexual identity, and racial identity. We do get other examples of other fair complexioned black people who've been passing themselves off as white, and the experiences that they have. And we also get experiences of people who are black and who are happy, it seems, to be black. But it's interesting because the author does give these kind of quotes that just seem like they're bombs that she just kind of drops and let them do the damage that they can. Yeah, she has these statements that she makes about race that you know they're just meant to be kind of incendiary. Nella Larsen herself was a mixed race woman, and I think this book does show the duality of experiences that is possible for someone who may not necessarily look the way they are and who has a choice in identity. But when you think about identity, you think about racial identity and gender identity and sexual identity, and you think about the choices that people are able to make about those identities, your marital status, and the level of fulfillment that you feel from being a wife and a mother or a parent. I thought it was really interesting how the author pushes those boundaries and gives us all these different points to ponder on those subjects. So I'm gonna recommend this book highly. It is a short book. It's only about 150 pages, and there are footnotes that draw the reader kind of out of the story to maybe go down rabbit holes and explore some historical references that are here. There is a lot of mention of the Harlem community and the range and the breadth of experiences that are afforded to black people in Harlem in the 1920s, but also how it appeals to their white counterparts. How Irene is, I don't know what her role would have been in this time, but she is organizing and promoting parties that are meant for black people, but it is for probably more upstanding black people, maybe not upstanding, but people who are more affluent, certainly. And because of the success of these parties, we also see her mentioning that a lot of white people come to these parties. Some of them are black people who are passing as white, but some of them are white people who are just intrigued by what is happening and they want to be part of the society. And so, to compare that with the idea that we have black people who are passing as white, and then we have white people who can't pass for black, but are so intrigued, so curious about what goes on in the black community that they can't stay away. They must see and must experience. I thought that, that kind of duality that the author gives us is just such a fantastic place to kind of delve a little deeper into as a thought experiment. So Passing by Nella Larsen was a fantastic read. This was also one of the books in my bucket list. I did the Mooks and the Gripes bucket list tag video recently. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it down below so you can check that one out. And so yeah, I have now completed reading one of the books on that list. So this is a win every way you look at it. And again, I really enjoy this book and I recommend that you check it out too. 150 pages and definitely a dazzling look at the black community in the 1920s, whether people are black on the inside and black as they appear, or whether they are just, who they are, how they appear to be. I think I said all of that right. There's a lot more to this book that I didn't talk about, but I don't want to give you too much of the story. So you have to go read it for yourself. Let me know in the comments down below when you do read it, and if you have already read it, what you thought about it. So I'd love to chat with you down there. Give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.